What is going on, everyone? Griffin here, coming at you with some Scorch gameplay, and today we're going to be talking about a better way to balance shotguns moving forward. So let's head over and let's talk about it. So as you guys know, with the most recent VV hotfix that came out a couple of weeks ago, there were some changes to the shotguns in Rogue Company. They effectively increased the damage range or decreased the fall off damage for shotguns across the board, all the shotguns, somewhere around 10 to 15%. Now, me personally, I enjoy playing with shotguns. I enjoy playing against shotguns primarily because I play single life game modes. So if we play against a character that has a shotgun, then we know moving forward that that character is using a shotgun, and we can kind of play around that character to the best of our abilities. Whenever you're playing respawn game modes, then it's a little bit different, and it does cause the shotgun balance to be skewed very heavily. For me personally, with me playing single life game modes, I haven't really seen too much of a inconsistent feeling or an overpowered feeling with shotguns as a whole. I think that they feel pretty good where they are now, but I was wanting to look at shotguns from a balance perspective, just because I've seen a lot of concerns and a lot of people that's come out and said that shotguns need to be balanced in a different way, or that they're too overpowered or whatever. So with one of the changes that happened 1 to 2 years ago, I can't remember exactly when it was, they went in there and they redesigned how shotguns work. Now, the way that they redesigned it was all a percentage based on the amount of pellets that hit. So if you shoot a shotgun that has 8 pellets in it, if you only hit 2 of the 8 pellets onto an enemy, you're only going to do this much damage. If you hit 4 of the 8 pellets, then you're only going to do this much damage. If you hit 6 of the 8, you're going to do this much damage, and then it scales up from there, right? So the problem with that system and the way that fall off ranges in Rogue Company works is whenever you're shooting a character that's up close, that's moving around, that you're actively in a gunfight with, then it's almost harder to hit them with a full slug or a full condensed pack of pellets whenever you are fighting with someone that close. Now, if they're 10 meters away and you're aiming at them with a shotgun, then it's a lot easier to shoot and actually hit more pellets on that character. And I think that that's where the biggest inconsistency comes from. That's why the fall off ranges for shotguns are kind of weird, and that's why I feel like the developers decided to buff them, because if you're shooting someone and it's hitting all the pellets and you're only getting a very low amount of damage, then that doesn't feel good for anyone, right? I think that they need to look at it in a different type of way. The way that shotguns work in the real world, unless you're using slugs or other, different types of ammo, for the most part, whenever you shoot something at a pretty close range, it's going to be a very tight spread of damage that's going to be dealt to whatever target you're shooting at, right? So if you're shooting a target like a piece of plywood or something, and you're close to that target within 5 meters, it's going to be a very tight spread on that shotgun. Now, if you step 15 meters back, take 15 steps back, 15 meters back, however you want to pace it out, then when you shoot it, it's going to be a much, much, much wider spread of pellets. The way that they work is they come out as a ball and then they expand from there as they travel through the air. And I think that that's where the biggest inconsistencies come from. I think that the way the spread works for the shotguns currently doesn't reflect reality, and it also doesn't reflect the way that damage fall off values should be applied to them. Whenever you shoot someone at 10 to 15 meters in Rogue Company, then you should realistically only be hitting them with, I would say, between 25 and 60% of the pellets that come out of it, which means that you're going to do damage from the very low spectrum of 25% all the way up to a somewhat decent amount of damage with a 60% shot, right? Unless you're using a weapon that has slugs or something else that tightens that spread up. Well, speaking of tighten the spread up, all the shotguns on their upgrade paths have the ability to tighten that spread up. And I think that once you have the developers go in and have the spread start to expand out, once you pass that 5 to 7 meter threshold, 5 to 7, 5 to 8, and have it go significantly wider, then maybe you're doing more damage to multiple targets that are in front of you, but it's not condensing all that damage down into one specific target and doing more damage that is actually necessary to that one target. I think that if they went in there and they left the damage fall off values where they currently are and just kind of reworked and redesigned how pellet spread on the shotguns work, I think that that would balance itself out. I think that that would make the shotguns feel better for people that are fighting them at a range, and they could have different variables for range depending on the type of weapons. There's no reason the arbitrator should have a range and a pellet spread that's similar to the SKL. That just shouldn't happen. You have a sawed off over under double barrel versus a pump action, long barrel shotgun. That shouldn't be the same, and it should be reflected in that way, and it shouldn't come down to the fall off of the weapons. It should come down to the actual spread. And I'm not talking about bloom, I'm talking about legitimate bullet spread of those bullets. It should bloom out very significantly once you get past that, preferred threshold, which would be where that first fall off hits you. And that's how it should be designed. I think that that would be a more realistic interpretation of how the weapons work. And I also think that it would keep them from being completely overpowered, but also keep them from being completely useless. We've seen shotguns go through various stages in the past where they go from completely useless and completely unplayable to very overpowered and very broken with the arbitrator meta that we had for a little while. And I think that if they did a nice mixture of the two and look at how these weapons should realistically act and apply some of that logic to the game itself, then I think that you would get a more tried and true product out of it. I think people would be satisfied with a change like that. Headshots factor in a little bit different, and then whenever you start applying buffs and all these different things to it, where you have characters that have gunsmith or a perk, I think it's gunsmith, but you have perks that apply damage range, like it makes the ranges longer on these shotguns. It should still cause that spread to be the same. It should just it should just extend that first fall off threshold a little bit. That's how you balance them out. You make shotguns act more like shotguns. You force people to be close quarters. The objection, the way that it was before Jared buffed it, before he left or whatever, like that was perfectly fine and it felt good. And then they went in there and they buffed it. Now you can, especially whenever you're running Umbra or other characters where you can really get some good range on it, it feels absolutely busted in the hands of certain rogues. And shotguns are very much the same. They have to do something to actually fix the weapons, as opposed to going in there and tweaking these arbitrary values that they can't seem to get right anyway. So let's look at how they realistically should work, and let's balance them from that perspective. But be sure to let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you think adjusting the shotguns in this way to where it spreads out way more whenever you're trying to shoot someone at range, and it significantly lowers the amount of pellets that you're actually hitting at that range to give appropriate damage, do you think that that would balance the weapons, or do you think that they would still technically be broken, or do you think that they would be useless? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Also be sure to check that description for links to Facebook, Discord, and Twitter. Those are the places to contact me. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, then consider hitting that join button to become one of the 256 crew members. Lastly, on Thursdays starting at 11 p.m. Central Time or Sundays starting at 10 a.m. Central Time, I will be streaming here on YouTube, so if you are interested and available, please feel free to stop by and say hello there. Thanks for watching, guys. There's two in this room right here.
The middle.
Fuck!
In the middle! Oh. Still in the middle.
They're in that room still, I'm pretty sure.
Right behind them.
Dude, no fucking shot!
They're camping the room. They're so pussies.
Oh goddamn, that was. I can keep them in the room. They're healing.
Damn. How is she so good all of a sudden?
I'm getting tear gas
I
like
cannot
crazy.
beat this fucking Phantom all of a sudden, dude. Oh my goodness. Okay. I wanna be your hero,
It could
baby.
easily be my tear gas or her tear gas.
Take away your pain.
I was in the mid. Like right here.
Enemy spotted.
I'm in a sandwich.
Like a long. Ah! Oh,
I
you
fucking knew
stupid
this bitch was back
Where the
here.
fuck
I
did
knew
get
she
shot?
was.
Right here, right here. This
It wouldn't let me
fucking
throw my
bitch.
fucking fire grenade?
This was doo-doo.
It happened to me today. Yep, so it's not letting you throw your utility now. Cause yeah, I've had that happen to me. I don't know what's going on, man. Isn't it great? Bro company!
They're up top, I think.
Of course.
So where?
I think they're up top.
In front of me. One in front of me. Ow, they're in that room again. They're in the little room. My gadget
Last in
didn't
the
go
room.
off.
Let's go. They're throwing poison. I can't run in there, but you can. Behind us? Is that behind or in there? Oh, it's in there. Shooting. Yep. Come here.
Back to it.
Right in front of me. My tear gas. You tear gas as well.
Tear gas versus tear gas.
30 seconds remaining.
30 seconds for what?
Until the time runs out. We got to get to 65.
Man,
We win.
we win.
I surrendered.
Oh, well, they were going to lose.
Let us get that far in, and they're like, nah. And Garbo just fucking putting in work.
What?
I know.
Sure.
No recognition for the 8 revives. No recognition.
I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
you know.
No recognition for
I know what I did out
remarks.
there.
You did a great
In the
job.
trenches.
I
Fighting
appreciate
trenches.
you every time.
He was fighting a trench every time.
Just see a dude dive into a trench and start punching the walls of it.